So let's take a little bit of a step back. Let's assume that somebody doesn't know what build to rent is, right? When I speak of build to rent, it's the idea that somebody builds a new construction home for you and then puts a tenant in there for the purposes of you collecting income and creating an income stream for you. And it's a passive investment for you. Now, the alternative has always been renovations, right? People for a century now, or damn near close to it, have been buying undervalued rental properties and then putting work into them and then renting them out and hoping to make positive cash flow. Well, wouldn't it make sense if you had a brand new construction home to do the same thing, except now things probably aren't going to break as much and your tenant's really going to love where they live, right? So that's the concept of build to rent. You can actually build a portfolio of rental properties now that are brand new construction. And this is the hot topic right now in the turnkey rental property space. So we're going to take a look at the market forces that have allowed this to happen. I'm going to take you guys on a little bit of a timeline here so you can see where this has come from and then where it's going. So let's go back to 2007. Okay, what I'm showing you here is the Jacksonville median home price, actually from 2001 all the way to 2012, so that you can get some perspective here. But what happened in 2007, right? Home prices started to crater, and they dropped 35% by the time it became 2011, right? Now, part of the reason why nobody had done build to rent prior to this was because home prices were so expensive. Land prices were so expensive, and the cost of materials and labor to build those houses was too expensive that you couldn't make the cash flow numbers work. So it was just never done, right? But now what we're seeing by this chart, and all of us probably know this, right? Home prices fell dramatically. So that means that home prices fall, land prices are at an all-time low or very, very low, and that might create the possibility of build to rent. But just because land prices fell didn't mean that that was going to make it good enough for us to be able to make the numbers work from a positive cash flow perspective, right? We had to have this perfect storm of labor and materials of building construction come down as well. And what I'm showing you here is a chart of US housing starts from 1950 to 2019. And this chart's in the thousands here. So when you see that 1,000 level there on the right-hand side, that's actually 1 million starts, right? So from 1950 all the way to 2006, sort of, we had over 1 million starts, or very near almost every single year we had over 1 million starts. And then when the housing market fell, the demand for housing fell, prices fell, builders weren't going to be building anymore. They were running away, right? Builders were in trouble. There were only 554,000 houses started in 2009. That's the lowest on record since the Great Depression. That is a big deal. Do you think it was easy to find home builders who were hungry for work at that point? Absolutely. Do you think the cost of materials was very low at that point? Absolutely. Just to put this in perspective, every year in the US, we create about 1.5 million households, right? So if only 554,000 were built in 2009, that at that point helped to have the glut of houses that were built prior to it help to drop that. But you can see now that we haven't even reached that 1.5 million households built as of 2019. So things have been creeping up. But again, going back to 2009, housing prices had cratered. Home builds, housing starts had also cratered. It created this perfect storm, which became the build to rent phenomenon. So in 2011, the birth of build to rent happened, and the birth of build to rent happened here with JWB, which is really cool. So in 2011, JWB in Jacksonville, Florida, built 30 homes for rental. This was the first time that homes had been built for the purpose of renting them out, and we built 30 of them, and that's where we were right there. That's the 30 homes. We found a builder who was in trouble, who couldn't build on the home lots that they wanted because they couldn't sell it to owner occupants. And we said, I bet we could get that land cheap enough. And I felt with our connections, we could find a builder to build it cheap enough because they're starving for work that we could be into this house for the same cost that we would be into a house that we renovated. And it just started to create this idea in our head that, man, if we could accomplish that, this would be so much of a better asset for an investor, for a turnkey investor, right? Because your tenant's going to stay longer. Your house isn't going to break as fast because it's brand new. And we're like, I bet this thing has legs. And guess what? It did. So these are a couple of pictures of our first ever build to rent homes that we built. Some of the first in the country are right here. And that was 2011 here in Jacksonville. In 2013, the Wall Street Journal found out about us. Isn't it funny how you hear of this overnight sensation that's been working for, a decade and building build to rent homes for 2 years at this point, but that was the Wall Street Journal for us. It was one of the biggest and coolest things that we had accomplished up to that point, to be featured on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. And they were featuring this concept that I'm sharing with you, this build to rent strategy. And here's a few excerpts from the article, right? It was called "New Homes Get Built with Renters in Mind." JWB Real Estate Capital was on the leading edge of a national trend. The Wall Street Journal takes a look at that dynamic today, and it outlines Safakis' strategy. Alex Safakis is my business partner, and our strategy was buying land at an extreme discount, so we're still able to rent it for a profit. This was a game changer. I remember I got a phone call from my father-in-law at that time. He had just randomly picked up the Wall Street Journal and was reading this article, and he said he was so excited about this article that he was going to tell me about it, and then he found out that it was about us, which was a really cool experience. So this is what we've done since 2011. We've built over 560 new homes since 2011. What you're seeing here is the footprint of our new construction here in Jacksonville, Florida. All of those little blue marks are all of the brand new construction homes that we've built for clients and that we currently manage, right? Have you ever played this game Risk, right? I think we all pretty much know that board game. I love this. We have this visual of all of the homes that we have under management here in Jacksonville, and it's all these little dots, and I feel like we're slowly but surely taking over Jacksonville. This is the 562 brand new construction homes. It gets even more fun when we talk about all the homes we have under management, which is over 3,200. But this is really exciting for us. What we have seen in our business is that new construction has been proven as that model here. But I'll tell you, we're a relatively small part of the equation when it comes to the potential for what build to rent could be, right? But let's take a look at what this has meant for our business, okay? So I've taken you now from 2011 as we continue to ramp up, but we quickly found that this was such a wonderful investment for our clients that we have dedicated more and more resources to building new construction homes every single year. In 2017, we started 180 brand new construction homes. 2018, we started 270. 2019, 375. And looking forward to 2020, we're planning for 400 new builds to be started just in 1 year. That'll put us on the top 10 list of builders here in Jacksonville for sure. Now, what does this mean to inventory for you? If you're somebody who's interested in investing with JWB, that means that you're probably going to see a brand new construction home when you come on board, and then we start to build your portfolio. Over 75% of JWB's properties are now new construction, which is wonderful.